Okay, happy new year. It is the new year. It's Dante Elephante podcast, episode 40. I should know this. 48. Episode 48. We're a little behind on my goal, but that's okay because it's fucking 2021 and nothing is going right. Am I right? I don't know. Let's start off with a voicemail.
Oh my god, hi.
Hi, I feel good. How are you? I like the people who just call and say hi. The random voicemails that make my day. Here we go.
What's my motherfucking name?
Who knows? Who knows what your name is? Because it's supposed to be anonymous. We're not telling anyone each other's names here. It's all anonymous. I feel good. If you don't know, my album came out last Friday. Mid-Century Modern Romance is out now. Go check it out. It's done. It's over with. All the pre-production and everything going on into it, the music videos, all the content, it's over. Just go on Spotify, Amazon, go buy it on Bandcamp. What's the easiest way to support me? I don't know, man. Just go on Bandcamp and buy the record, buy the physical record. If you like vinyl, it's really rad because we printed it on 45, and once you take it down to 33 and a third, it's gold. Get ready to chop and screw. Are you prepared to chop and screw? I feel good. I feel really good. I'm gonna edit the fuck out of this thing. I can feel it. I can already feel it. I'm too excited. Okay, album came out last Friday. Thanks to the Patreon people, Ashley Brinkley, Andrew E. Roth. You guys are my rock. If you want to support the podcast, head over to Patreon. I'll put the link in the bio. And thanks, man. Yeah, we don't have any sponsors. It's just a small podcast, and we're trying to grow this thing. So if you know anyone who wants to hear some bands talk, this is the place. And a podcast that doesn't just rant about Jimi Hendrix. Not throwing any shade, but I can't handle those anymore, man. This podcast has Juan Wayne. I guess sure you guys have been waiting for the intro. Juan Wayne is on the podcast. We ended up playing a show with them in San Francisco a few years back. I was in 2018 or 19 before the world ended. We played a show with them in San Francisco at El Rio. That's right, we talked about it. El Rio, one of these great little bars in San Francisco with French Cassettes. Another band I think I want to talk to on the podcast. They just put out an album, or they're about to put out an album. Either way, with Tender Loving. But Juan Wayne put out a record this last year, 2020. One of the few bands that put something out in 2020, man. Like, I swear to God, like, so many bands went ghost, and I hope you as a listener paid attention to every band who just dropped out of 2020 because it was hard or they didn't know what to do. It's like, I thought we were creatives, man. Weren't we supposed to create? I don't know, but who knows? Maybe a lot of people wrote. If you spent 2020 writing songs, then I can't hate on you. That's very good. That's more than what I did. I think I wrote like 4 songs last year. But hopefully more are coming soon. It's like, please tell me more is coming soon. But Juan Wayne's great, man. This is a great chat. I talked to them last night with news dropping, with Fauci talking about touring. Will we tour in the fall? I thought it was going to be summer. Fauci's thinking it's going to be the fall. If he knows way more than I do, so it's probably going to be the fall. And so that gets me excited. I can't wait to start playing again and just... I want to play these songs live. If you guys came to my last tour where we opened for Somersault, like, then you heard some of these songs live. We were kind of prepping them, getting them ready for 2020 when this album was supposed to be released. But 2020, a cursed year. 2021, still cursed, I think. I don't know. This is going to be good. Things are going to open up. I feel 2022 is going to be a big year. And that by that point, I will be 32 years old, and I don't know where I'll be in that moment. I cannot predict the future, man. I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm very excited, man. A lot of great stuff happened over this last week. I did not put a podcast out last week. Jenny and I were just hanging out. We didn't really get to hang out on Christmas because I was potentially exposed to COVID, which I wasn't, and everyone's safe in my house. But Jenny did not come over. I did not see my parents, and I'm, so we celebrated this week, and it was nice. It was nice to catch up, and I went over to my mom's house, and And it worked out because it was Rosca de Reyes. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's where you put these little plastic babies. Let me see. And my baby's kind of far in the back, but I just spoiled it. Yeah, you put these little plastic babies in the bread, and you cut up the bread, and whoever gets the baby has to either make dinner or, in our case, buy dinner. And there's two babies in the bread, and Jenny and I joked that, like, oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if we ended up being the ones who got the baby? And boom, we both got the baby. So now we both have to buy dinner, which is fine. I'd rather make something, but my family wanted to buy something, which is a lot more expensive. Woo, it's fine, baby. When's that stimulus check hit? I haven't even looked yet, but the stimulus check is supposed to be coming. I don't know. That's one of those things I haven't paid attention to. Yeah, Rosca de Reyes. If you don't know, bread, baby in a bread, kind of like Borat, and Jenny and I got the baby. It was very weird, very strange, but it's fun. It's fun. I think it's our first time actually doing it. This is not a tradition we grew up with, but it's really fun. It's really exciting, and it causes a little anxiety. Give me a call, 805-316-4717, if you just want to leave a weird voicemail like this one.
I would like to share these motivational words that I heard this morning. I get up, and nothing gets me down.
All right, I hope you're doing good. I get up. Who needs a little Van Halen in the morning, man? I'm telling you. I have shirts for sale. There are shirts for sale at hellomerch.com. I'll put the link in the bio of the YouTube video. I did a nice little album stream. It's like a cruise stream driving through Santa Barbara, which I thought was fun, and I thought people in Santa Barbara would get a kick out of it. I didn't know people outside of Santa Barbara would get a big kick out of it. I got a lot of DMs just being like, this is awesome, I've never seen Santa Barbara before, and thank you for showing me it. And yeah, I just took you kind of through some landmarks of mine. I drove to my elementary school, I drove through my junior high, I drove through my old neighborhood on the west side of Santa Barbara, and then at the end I take you through the touristy stuff. You get to see the tourists, you get to see Cabrillo Boulevard, the iconic, the beautiful. I didn't want, it'd be so easy just to do a whole video of showing you the touristy shit, but I wanted to show you stuff that meant something to me and how I see Santa Barbara, not the stuff you can just see when you come here and you drive through and it's very nice and pretty. But the west side is pretty. It's not to say the west side isn't pretty, but it's not touristy. I don't know. There's some great spots over there. Super Cuca's, one of my favorite places. Foodland, shout out to Foodland. And I did a vlog about Revolver Pizza. Shout out to Ray's Liquor. I grew up on the west side, and yeah, it was really fun to just drive. And that was on December 30th. It was New Year's Eve's Eve. And that was cool, man. That was cool to it felt like a little peaceful, but there was some energy. People were out and about. I had my mask on. I was just filming for a little bit and then left. It was cool, but most of it was just driving. But then at the very end, I got out of the car in Montecito, and you'll have to see. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll put the link also in the bio of the YouTube video, but it's just a fun way to listen to the album and see Santa Barbara at the very same time. I got inspired. I saw another video on YouTube of someone doing something similar, but it was in the 80s or 90s. It's on YouTube, and it's just them driving around, and it's yeah, man. Santa Barbara kind of looks the same, but also doesn't, but also looks exactly the same. There's not a big difference from that video that I got inspired by and the video that I made. Let's see. Shirts for sale. Vinyl Takeover. Have you heard of Vinyl? VNYL. They're a subscription service that you get 3 records every month. It's $15 a month, and they send you 3 records. So what is that? Each record's $5. You're paying $5 per record. They have my record, Mid-Century Modern Romance. It's a special, unique yellow vinyl. They let me take over their Instagram on Thursday, and we kind of treated that like an Instagram takeover release show. I didn't go live. I just kind of posted things that I liked about the record and things I thought were interesting about the record. If you watched any of those stories, thank you. That was really fun. I posted so much on their Instagram. Oh, I posted way too much on their Instagram, and if you are a follower of them on Instagram, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I promise you I didn't mean it, but I just got excited, and yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Oh, okay. Another thing we're doing this. I'm on day 3. Celery juice. Drinking celery juice every day, every morning before I eat breakfast, and it's making me so sick, but I feel good. I don't know. It might be complete bullshit, and perhaps it's already been debunked on the internet. And if it has been debunked on the internet, tell me in the comment section so I know, hey, stop drinking the celery juice every morning. It doesn't do anything for you. But at the moment, I feel pretty good. I feel like it's just cleaning me out. I am eating real food. Someone said that. So I talked to someone the other day, and they're like, well, make sure you're not just like only drinking celery juice. Hell no. I am actually eating real food, but it has been nice. It has felt like it's curbed my cravings. I have a big sweet tooth, obviously a food addiction. Obviously, just fucking look at me. And so I feel like this has been helping with that, man. I don't know. 2020 was such a weird time, and this is very classic 2021, new year, new me. And we're going to get fit this year. This happens every year. So this is my 2021 version of me drinking celery juice. But, you know, my weight and my health is definitely took a downturn this year. I think a lot of people can relate, like, without the gyms being open and you know, my local high school where I was running for a little bit at the beginning of the quarantine, I kind of shut down like anyone running there, so I haven't been able to go over there. I bought a stationary bike, but the bike seat is just killing my ass, so I've been doing it, but it's not as religiously as I'd like. So that's something that's a struggle, and I'm working on. But yeah, man, it's just a constant struggle, and trying to be the best person I can be. So celery juice is like my golden elixir. Yes, this is what's gonna turn the tide. 30 years of abuse. The celery juice is what's gonna help me out this time. But I feel good. I don't know. It's cleaning me out. I feel good. Thank you to the Patreon. My album came out this year. Happy New Year. Yeah, Juan Wayne's on the podcast. They're awesome. They're great dudes to talk to. I've talked enough today. I hope we're all caught up. The Supreme, what happened at the Capitol was terrorism. I'm not going to give you any hot take. It is what it is. Biden gets fucking inaugurated next Wednesday. So let's keep it going, people. Good energy, good vibes. I love you all.
How's it going, man?
Very good, man. Juan Wayne, how are you guys doing? We are recording. We are going. We are not officially we're live-ish. Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Good, man. We're doing good. How are you doing?
I've been good, man. I've just been just in Santa Barbara, and kind of I feel like I'm all over the place, but really I'm just been in Santa Barbara for the majority of the year.
Yeah. Nice.
Amazing. We got the whole state here. I'm in San Francisco. Caesar's in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. That's awesome, man. San Francisco, Los Angeles. How do you guys make it work?
Long distance,
man.
Yeah,
hard. It's so hard.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of long distance relationships before, man. I can only imagine a long distance band.
Although, I see other people, he sees other people.
It's healthy.
We try to keep it open. We share.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So what's going on? You guys released a record last year.
We did.
We did release a record. Yeah.
How's it going?
Oh man, it's going. Gaining extreme popularity in Russia.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah. I think
Eastern Bloc.
Yeah.
I think they just got Spotify, right? Wasn't that the thing? Because we all got new fans in Russia.
That must be it.
Yeah.
That must be it. Yeah. Well, yeah, man. I mean, so anyhow, we played a show together once upon a time.
Yeah.
Yes, that was
one of the first one.
Yeah, and I think that Cesar and I played I toured for a while under my own name for a long period of time, and Cesar played with me. And then I think by the time he moved to Los Angeles, we kind of started doing this other thing. It was throwing parties in San Francisco, and Cesar would come up, and we would have friends, mutual friends, come play in this bar band, essentially, that turned into a cowboy bar band that was playing kind of Oasis-like music. And then, and that kind of turned into Juan Wayne. And at a point, I guess recently, we released a kind of depressing, but I would say good record of about like 3 songs. Hold on, I have some coffee.
That's awesome. Okay. When did you guys start recording this record?
We started recording this record in I want to say 2018.
2018.
And Andrew came down for a long weekend, and we knocked it all out kind of in a couple days. And I had a little setup at my house, old house, did it all on tape. And then he went back up, and we came down. We actually have a second one we've done already.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we don't really do the long distance writing thing. We sort of get together and just bash it out and put the record together and then record the record, and then it lives.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't done any of the long distance writing. We've done a little bit this year. Maybe someone will send me an idea. Here's some chords I have. Can you put a guitar riff? Can you put some what are you thinking for vocals? It just takes so much more time.
Yeah.
But I guess it's what we have to do for now. But did you guys try that at first and then move to we have to at least try and meet up to write?
No, I mean, I think honestly, the project kind of happened by circumstance. I mean, Andrew and I have been sort of toying with the idea of being in a band together that isn't, his band or my band or somebody else's band.
Right.
Just our band. Sort of since we started being friends.
When did you guys meet again?
Oh, so this is a good one. So we both went to high school together, but Cesar was a couple years younger than me, and I was in the jazz band. There's jazz band at the high school, right?
Yeah.
And I played piano. And there's 2 levels of jazz band. This jazz band was kind of kind of higher up jazz band of.
Wait,
where people
we lost your
play the instrument, And anyway, Cesar, being a kind of young talented guy, came into the higher up jazz band. And he would play guitar in the band, and he had his amplifier.
Which I don't know how I got to do that. I can't play jazz on guitar. I can't play jazz.
I mean, I can't play jazz piano either. But anyway, his amplifier was right next to my piano bench, and so because he was new, I had to haze him, of course. And me being stoned, thought the best idea would be to play with the knobs. It's like Blues Junior, and it had all the and he was playing really dry. And I would just go and turn up. He'd go to do some solo, and he'd just fuck it up so bad, embarrass the shit out of you. But yeah, no, that was how we met initially. And then I think that as time went on, I moved, he moved. He lived in New York. I lived in Boston, Los Angeles. He lives in LA now. It's been a long road.
Yeah,
wild. Oh man, why'd you end up going to Caesar? Why'd you move to New York?
Say that again.
Sorry? Oh, why'd you guys move to the East Coast?
Oh, college.
Oh, the whole college thing.
We both did 1 year and left.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
We're on extended leave.
Extended leave. It's been an extended leave.
Yeah, man.
But yeah,
I almost did the exact same thing when I was 18. I was in a band, and we were getting ready to we really wanted to be a big band, and that band I was just playing drums in it, but that band was pretty good, and we could have done something looking back, but hell no, dude. If I would have moved to New York at 18, I would have been fucking screwed. I went to New York when I was 25, and I was so exhausted by the end of my 6 days. I was this is too much. This is too much stimulation, man. I'm not built that way.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I toyed with moving there after. See, I went to art school in Boston briefly, and during that time, I had I'd released like one of my first records, and it seemed to be doing pretty well on CMJ when that was really a thing. So I remember my first month I was in college, I got invited to go and play in New York City for that festival, which I don't think happens anymore. Maybe,
I don't think it's a thing, no.
Yeah, no. But anyway, so I went down. It was my first time being there as an adult. I'd been like as a child, and I remember going like taking Amtrak down with like my guitar, like showing up at Penn Station. I had to get to Lower East Side. I had no fucking clue what I was doing. I like walked the entirety with this hard case fucking Gibson. And I like my leg was. I mean, luckily I was pretty drunk, so it didn't really hurt too bad. But but man, it was fucking. I remember so like the feeling of like whoa, like just like holy shit, what
way
the
too
fuck
much
is going on here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Cesar lived there for. Cesar was also born in.
Yeah, I'm from New York originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I lived there for college for a year, and it's funny, a lot of my friends stayed on, and so I would kind of go back and visit, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those places where it goes through big ups and downs, and I'd say it's going through a real tough down.
Yeah, I don't know any place that's really thriving right now. That's the whole thing with these lockdowns. You know, you have the people in Texas who are just like, oh, California is fucking up, man, with their lockdowns. Like, it's like, you guys aren't doing any better. Like, no one's doing great. Like, whether if you lock down or you open up, like, no one's thriving right now. So,
yeah, there's no infrastructure for it.
No, no.
Totally fine.
How have you guys have done you guys have navigated through 2020 in a pretty interesting way. I saw you guys were going door to door and playing shows. Like,
that was
So I'd been doing that in San Francisco. I kind of because before part of how the Juan Wayne thing, outside of Cesar and I's relationship, how it kind of started was I was throwing parties at Amnesia in San Francisco, a small bar, and that moved on to throwing some shows at the Chapel, and all that shit was kind of moving forward for me here before everything fell apart, right? And I kind of picked up a partner in the business of throwing shows named Ashley Graham. And after, everything stopped, had tours. I'm sure that, I saw you were doing all sorts of shit. Like, everything gets canceled. And along with like monthly holds at different clubs that I was attempting to promote and all this other stuff. And so instead of, kind of with that compartmentalized side of where my brain was at, we decided to be like, okay, like let's do a regular thing in San Francisco to go around to people, trying to figure out a way that's safe outdoors. Like, I'm lucky that I can go out with a guitar, acoustic guitar, and sing some songs, and corral with people or whatever at distance. And so we started doing that, and then it picked up on the television and shit, and it kind of got a little crazy. But yeah, no, I mean that was me. Cesar and I were going to go about doing that in Los Angeles, but then it got really busy. So
LA's such a different animal. Like San Francisco, it's still a big city, but you can still walk places.
Yeah,
it's like LA is just, you're not walking fucking any. Like Highland Park is kind of walkable.
Kind of
walkable.
We're like
pretty
walkable
village area.
Yeah.
Villages.
I feel like it's funny. LA is like, it's such a different culture. When I moved here, I was the only person that walked, but also the only person that ever went to a park to hang out.
Yeah.
Because I parked in San Francisco, and nobody did it. And I would be like, "Oh, let's go hang out at a park," and they're like, "A park? You mean the beach?"
Totally.
I'm like, "No, a park."
Yeah, San Francisco's such a park. Like, Dolores Park. I see in Dolores Park they have like 6 feet little circles. You can hang out in your own little circle. Like,
yeah.
Are people still doing that, or are they giving up and now just anyone sits anywhere?
I mean, it kind of depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
What is
like in the Mission and Golden Gate Park and stuff, people are fairly considerate.
Yeah.
But if you go to like the north side of town, people are not very considerate.
Oh man.
It's whatever.
Do you feel like the exodus? Do you feel like does the city feel lighter? Because, everyone was like leaving, and I have friends who have left San Francisco.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's been a constant state of exodus, at least for like creative people.
Yeah.
For the last 10 years or so. I mean, when we were in high school, it was like kind of the last time it was really popping.
Yeah.
Crazy. We were a little too young to really fully experience it.
Totally.
But I mean, it's funny because like, when uh, I was in Los Angeles until I was like 20, so I think 21, just turned 21. And I came back here, and it was another year until like everyone I grew up with graduated school and got proper jobs and shit. And so that year after that, when everyone kind of came back to town after going wherever they had gone, was funny because that was really where the big like kind of yuppie overtook everything for me. It was like all these young people who were my age and shit, and just doing jobs and in this kind of collegiate way. I would say, I don't want to insult anybody, but it's like it really changed in my head because suddenly my consciousness went from being like pretty much all around artist people.
Yeah.
Cesar was there at the time as well, and then like it kind of became more of a, at least I was around more kind of people with the regular job, you know what I mean?
Totally,
and then
yeah.
throughout this period of time, people seem to have been, people who could, wouldn't want to pay $3,000 a month for an apartment or whatever, and could, were working for whatever firm and could go home and do whatever they wanted to, like have all seemed to have left. So it is feeling a little empty, but it's kind of
nice.
The people who like, being born and raised here, there's no shortage of people who have like tried to tough it out throughout whatever's happened.
Totally. I graduated high school in 2008, and that felt like
that's gnarly.
That felt like the moment of it was gnarly because immediately that summer the fucking housing market crashed and there's just no jobs now, and I feel the same way for these kids right now as they're about to go through the exact same thing, and it's like, oh yeah, it was brutal, man. But San Francisco had a vibe then. 2008, 2009, 2010. I was like, I gotta get up there, man. That's where I gotta go. And then slowly, you saw some of the bands, and you start seeing the city change, and bands start leaving, and it's crazy. Like the Chapel. The Chapel is one of my favorite venues, man. I love that venue.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's a great place. I mean, we're lucky that it's still around.
Totally.
That's cool.
Okay. I heard the one place in San Francisco. My last show in San Francisco was at the Great American Music Hall. Someone told me that's sold. Is that true?
Well, it sold a couple years ago to Anschutz, I believe, to AG, to Golden Place.
They did close Slims.
Yeah, I think they're closing Slims. Slims was the partner one that was owned by Boz Skaggs, actually.
Got it.
One of the partners. But
they were like a brother sister venue.
Yeah.
Got it.
But yeah, no, it was I believe it was bought by AG.
Okay. Well, then it will still be around then, yeah.
Definitely will still be around.
Those are the only ones that are going to be left. The ones that have like serious financial backing that Golden Voice is like.
Yeah.
Or
Golden Voice, Live Nation and stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Wild, man. Fauci came out today and said that he expects tours, live shows to come back in fall. Do you guys believe that? Are you optimists? Are you pessimists? Where are you at with that? Do you think by the fall we'll be good to go?
I mean, as it stands for me, I kind of like, I'm sure you probably feel the same way. Like the dates have been pushed back so many times that it's kind of like almost irrelevant, because I feel like it's like, okay, the places that have still held the holds that, we planned a year ago or a year and a half ago, even, like it's, I don't know. I feel kind of jaded thinking about it, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's conceivable, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's probably hard pressed for like normal life to return by the fall. And I feel like normal life has to kind of return.
Yeah.
Shows. But I don't, hopeful.
Yeah.
You would also think that like, it would be regional, right? So like,
Of course.
you think that, if it's still screwed up in California, there'd be different. It would be kind of different than say in Chicago or something, and
totally.
And so therefore, if you're thinking about like doing proper touring and stuff, it probably will. I would assume, and I will say now, I think
yes. These are all
surrounding problems. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hard to say. What do you think about the whole thing?
I think, I was saying summer. I was like, by June, July, like it will be perfect. But with Fauci saying fall, he definitely knows more than me. So it's probably actually looking more like fall. And I'm still thinking by fall, it's going to be like half capacity rooms and you're still going to wear the mask at the bar,
Right.
Like that's with the vaccine, half capacity room with a mask.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to play a show? Here are the rules, like, and if that's the case, then I guess I'm down. Like, I was already filling up half capacity rooms to begin with, so this is no change for me.
Tough, dude. Well, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, man.
At least there's an excuse this time.
It also kind of seems like it's going to be something like where it is regional and it's like rolling lockdowns, where it probably won't be COVID free. I feel like nationwide we won't be COVID free for maybe even, I don't know, hopefully by the end of 2021, but you never know, right?
Totally.
And it could be that like the Northeast has a bad spike in, fall 2021, and then all of a sudden it's fine there, but then it's bad in southern United States or the Southwest or something. So
yeah, I could see something like that. Yeah.
I feel like it might still linger, and there might be regional, and I feel like within pockets of people who don't get vaccinated or don't get access to being vaccinated,
yeah,
it could pop back up again.
I guess I saw Dodger Stadium today is like slowly transitioning to become like a vaccine where you can get your vaccine at Dodger Stadium.
It's really hard to get tested right now in LA.
Yeah.
The main testing people were curative, and they got called out by the FDA, I would say maybe a week ago, that their tests are pretty inaccurate and provide a lot of false negatives.
Oh, that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh,
we have there's literally 300 to 400 people dying every day here right now.
Yeah, it's they said one person every 8 minutes dies in LA from COVID.
Fucking bad, dude.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Like you said, there will be certain cities that I think will open up and you can do shows, but LA is going to be that one that might be the very last city to open up and do shows.
Well, also, I think, too, if you look at the way that the local governments are dealing with it, I imagine we probably play shows in Texas before we can play shows in California.
Yeah, absolutely. Arizona.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, Texas is a great place to play, man.
Okay with that.
Has Juan Wayne hit the road? Have you guys toured a lot yet? No. Not yet?
Well, we again. So the live act really was Cesar would come up to San Francisco. We'd play at the parties I was throwing, and we would kind of piece together bands of other front people. So we had Greg DiMartino. I'm not sure if you know him. I feel like you might.
Possibly.
The French cassette people. Tina Dreamer guy. We'd have sometimes Mac, French cassette dude, or Swain plays drums. He plays with Automator and Deltron 3030 and stuff.
Cool.
All these kind of people that are couldn't really be serious about what we were doing, but like to get drunk and play the show.
Wanted to hang out. Yeah, wanted to hang out with the music.
It was kind of it became kind of like a club of sorts, kind of hanging out and just wear some silly clothing and let's just have a riot. But we've been playing in Los Angeles a little bit. We've played at TG, which is over in Glendale, right? Where's that?
Yeah, 10 minutes from me. It's right down in Atwater.
Cool.
Right on Glendale Main Strip.
Yeah, so we've done that. We've played a bunch of times in San Francisco. That was kind of where we were at. And then, we've been sitting on these tape recordings that we'd made for a while and kind of sending them around to people, the people that would come and play with us, and people like the recordings and stuff. And the songs. And so, we kind of had a whole plan this year for, what potentially we were going to do with the whole thing. And so regarding playing out or, trying to take it on the road and link up with other acts and stuff. But we just kind of threw it out there because, there's nothing else to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I noticed immediately. I was pitching my record at the beginning of last year, and it's just as soon as the pandemic happened, just nobody responding back to emails. And I was like, okay, I guess I need to get rid of this idea of that I'm going to pitch a record and tour this year. It's done. So I was just release one single and I don't know. It all kind of spiraled, but yeah.
Yeah, it gets tough, It gets tough. It's one of those things where I think for me, the thought about it was, essentially all right, put out another independent record, and do all the legwork for it. That's worst case scenario, right? But
right.
It's not, it's not unfamiliar or anything. So,
yeah.
you know, when it came down, particularly for the Juan Wayne stuff, which, you know, Cesar and I are not very precious about at all. You know, like it's not necessarily anything that we're like, holy shit, you know, like this is the fucking thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but it's funny because it does seem to, you know, connect more even in certain ways. But
There's
seriously in the past.
Yeah, there's like a looseness that just like this. We're just doing this for fun, and then that translates through the records of like we're just having fun, man. Like this is just some we have, side project, wherever you want to call this thing. Like it's still fun, and it shines through on the recordings, man.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. When you guys say tape, are we talking about reel to reel or cassettes?
Reel to reel.
Oh, what kind of reel to reel do you guys have? Was it what size of tape are we talking about?
You have it right there. Don't you?
I use a Fostex R8
Cool.
for my multi-track. I kind of dabbled in tape when I was living. After college, I moved back home to San Francisco, and we hung out a bunch, and that was when I was playing in his band. And I bought a TIAC, just a auto reverse from the 70s. It's actually great sounding.
Cool.
But it was my introduction to tape, and I really wanted to get into it. And then I did some cassette stuff. And then when I moved to LA, I got a great deal on this R8. There's a really good tech in the Northwest Valley who's like been a tech for all of these big studios in LA for maybe 50 years. And he's like ancient. He must be like pushing 90, but he did an excellent job restoring it. And we did the first record, the second record on that. We'll probably do everything else on that until we decide to do something else. It's a great machine, and yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's something really awesome about tape. Like tape, when I did my first record on tape, it made Pro Tools make sense.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah,
oh, now I get this. Because this is just trying to do this, and like, okay.
Pro Tools is such an antiquated program because it's
Yeah.
trying to emulate working off a desk with cue mixes and submixes and buses, and it doesn't make sense to like modern
Totally.
workflow at all. And so a lot of kids I feel like don't really get into that landscape, but it's totally real. I mean, like honestly, just working, I am a little bit more in the recording world than Andrew. Andrew's a little more in the live thing. And for me, the big thing that really got me thinking about signal flow and the chain and all this stuff, it all started through working on tape and going, like talking about length of cable and all these things and speed, the actual physicality of the fact that the thickness of your tape will change how much fidelity you have. That's like a very analog media. I mean, no pun intended, but
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Mechanical stuff is really cool to me.
That's cool, man. And how'd you get started in that? Like, was that something you got into? And you said it was after college or after high school? Which one?
Well, I always I think Andrew and I both like the records we love. A lot of them, not all of them, because both of us like grew up listening to lots of hip hop and stuff. But a lot of the records we love come from like the 60s and 70s, and it's bands that recorded live in the room to a tape machine.
Yeah.
You know? It's like if you listen to the early Beatles stuff, it's like a lot of it's 3-track, the first 4 records, and then they go to 4-track. And Sgt. Pepper is 4-track with 2 of them synced up. And that level of there's an honesty there. That I don't think you can really emulate. I mean, if you can pretend to do that in the DAW and limit yourself, but it's really difficult to get into that headspace because as soon as you're like, oh, I want to add a shaker, you can. But when we do these records, we can't. We have to commit, and you have to decide whether or not you want a guitar solo or a shaker.
It was funny, for this first Juan Wayne record, we didn't have a cable. We were too lazy to go get another cable. So I think we only had
6 tracks. Yeah. We did 6 tracks, but it was great because then we could do we had 2 tracks left over that we could do live tape delay feedback loops.
Got it.
That's
awesome.
what that's what that sound is.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's great. It's great to do it because when you have unlimited options, that's when you just start like dumping tracks, and now it's a massive 56.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
nightmare.
It gets so confusing, and a lot of times less is more, and you could feel it
Always.
in your guys' EP. Less is more, and yeah, it provides like a nice intimacy. Like you are just listening to you guys, both of you playing right there
Right.
live. Yeah,
And I think like also you make choices for the song in terms of arrangement. You know,
yeah,
you talk about how to bring up the chorus in a way that's more organic than adding like another rhythm guitar layer.
Mhm.
You don't need to make a wall of guitars.
yeah.
You know, like we're not.
It's always your instinct too.
Nirvana.
Dude, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, Cesar and I both, like, growing up, were, you know, like, demo recording at home with
Tons.
on your computers, where you have you can do anything you want, you know, and
Yeah.
overindulge everything because you're like overcompensating for whether the song is shitty or the, you know, your playing's bad.
Yeah.
Or something, you know, like you're like the, you know, do it, like growing up doing that and doing that and doing that. It's amazing. Like the limitations definitely changed my like thinking about things, because I think that I'd gotten some like really bad habits over years of just overindulging myself with doing things
Right.
that, you know, sounded fine but just weren't really adding anything, and, you know, kind of created a level of kind of mediocrity in some of the recording I'd been doing, that, you know, now through, you know, the kind of being enlightened in this one way has been helpful.
Oh, 100%. I can completely relate to what Andrew said. I mean, it's like bad habits. Like I would take one song and I'd like do 5 different versions with 5 different snare drums because I want to just feel like, oh, let's hear it with like some crazy Bruce Springsteen Cannonball snare drum and just try it, you know, whatever. And, you know, you can't do that, which is, you can, but you can't.
yeah.
Now I have to choose. And I think that's really, I think it's valuable. I mean, on this record, the drums were 1 track.
Right.
One song with stereo drums because there's nothing else,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think that that's valuable. I think that's cool.
With the drums, did you guys play it yourself, or did you bring a friend in to play drums?
Yeah, well, this one, I think this record was mostly Cesar playing drums.
Cool.
The second record, we were high on mushrooms, and Cesar could not play the drums, so I played the drums.
Andrew is really good at playing the fast songs, and I'm really good at playing the slow songs.
Nice.
And for some reason, as soon as it's a fast song, I can't play it. And as soon as it's a slow song, he can't play it. I don't know what it is, because we would be a great drummer together.
Yeah.
That's so silly, dude. It's also funny because Cesar's kit is a kit that you stole from our high school.
Nice.
Isn't
Yeah, well, I was gifted.
You're gifted it, yeah.
What's the statute of limitations on that crime?
I was gifted. I did
was a gift.
some things.
That's amazing.
I did
Yeah.
attempt to steal like a Nord stage from our high school when I graduated, which didn't go very well. But.
Yeah, those things are fucking awesome, man. The more and more, you know, you want to be a purist when you go on that stage and like, oh, I want the actual Rhodes, man. I'll just bring my Rhodes, and then you're like, I'm not gonna realistically tour with this fucking thing, like, and it's better kept in my room where it doesn't get fucking banged up, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also that whole like stigma of like you see a red fucking keyboard at every show.
I know.
Like every band has a fucking $4,000 Nord. It's like, dude, what the fuck, dude?
That Nord shame.
For a couple of the early Juan Wayne shows, we did a lot of keyboards off the first record. We did off this like 90s Yamaha like kids piano.
Nice.
Like,
Dude,
little,
those are kind of the best sounds, dude. You find,
oh
like,
man, I know. I love that. I use that thing all the time. I work in like production music and I use it for Joe all the time. It's goofy, man, but it's cool.
That's
But
amazing.
We would bring that to the shows, and to make it look less lame, we'd have to like drape blankets over it. Or
There you go.
Right.
So ridiculous.
Nice. Yeah, have you guys seen that like hashtag Nord shame on Tumblr? It was like an old Tumblr thing like a while ago, and I just got turned on to it like the other day. But it's like guys or people, musicians who build like straight up like wood boxes to anything, like building
Hide the
these
Nord, yeah.
yeah, just to hide the Nord. And there's like all these creative ways, and it's like hashtag Nord shame. And yeah, there's just so many funny ways people cover that thing.
Silly.
But they
It's
fucking
great.
work. They work, man. They don't break. Like, they're reliable. They're gonna work every time you play. Like,
I just spray paint it. Spray paint it. white.
totally. Something. Do
Oh.
something.
I think
Yeah.
people like do like the white tape.
Yeah.
Tape everything in the band's thing white, or spray. You know, there's been many. many successful and unsuccessful.
Yeah.
I used to have a twin reverb, and there was a period of time where
Dude, that thing was way too
it was crazy. And this was some guy like who had dreams of being like in Pearl Jam or something. Bought
Yeah.
this, and he,
Dude, that guy, dude. Holy, it was in Pacifica where you picked it up.
yeah, he put JBLs in it. So it
Yeah.
was the fucking heaviest goddamn amp. This thing used to like, I feel like it weighed
It was on casters though, wasn't it?
80 pounds. Yeah, it was on casters. And it was like 130 watts. I could never turn it up past 2.
Yeah, that's
One time I did, and it sounded amazing at 10, but you just can't do it. Anyway, I was thinking about spray painting it white at one point, but I figured I wasn't going to keep it. So
yeah, that's the exact same amp I have with the exact same speakers in it. It was
Dude,
it was
how are you
previously
bringing that
owned.
thing around?
Yeah, I have changed my amps. Now I have a little like JC chorus thing, but like yeah,
great.
it was like
those
Jim.
are killer amps.
They're super great, man. But it was Jim Messina's amp. He lives in Santa Barbara, and he like turned one of those amps. He has like a million of them, and it's loud. I can't turn it past 2. Anything past 2 gets insane. Super clean, super heavy as fuck. Like I like broke my back in the last like 7 years using this thing, and it's a tank. It's sitting not even in my room. It's outside the door because I just don't know where to put it.
No, it's a nightmare. But they're really good for what they do. They're loud and they're clean and they're honest.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that's what you want, but that wasn't what I wanted. So
My also at a show, my reverb tank like died, and it was just this loud screech.
reverb tanks and those things are weird. Mine used to sound like there was a key jingling around
Yes.
in it. Like the tube had become like rattly or something.
Totally.
Nightmare.
Yeah, it's brutal. I love that amp though, but you won't be seeing. I didn't use it on my last tour. This next one's like real small, just fits in the van.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a dream.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so let's go back to the start. We first played a show in San Francisco together. It was the French Cassettes release show. I barely remember that show, but all the photos I took from that show look so good because it was like a cloudy day. Like every photo on the disposable camera I brought just looks so clean.
Yeah.
So clean. And but I heard you guys playing. I was walking into the bar. Such a great bar. Name of it.
El Rio.
El Rio. Such a fun bar. It had like the wood panel lining. I was like, this is the kind of vibe I like. This is like an old, nice 70s looking bar. And you guys sounded so good, man. I was like, holy shit. I was like blown away
Thank you.
by your guys' set. And then
That
so
was
I
bad day for us.
yeah. Bad day for you guys? What?
Well, not the day was great. The set, it was I don't know why. We decided to do something different. Normally Andrew plays the acoustic and I play like an electric, just kind of like
I
soft
was
chords,
playing
like-
the electric 12.
You were playing the electric 12 and I was playing your acoustic and I broke like half of the strings on the first strum.
Oh no.
And you lost all the pegs, dude. You lost
And I lost all the pegs.
I was like, fuck, dude. He was playing this thing, which is unplayable by any regard.
It
Yeah.
was beautiful though.
Beautiful.
Man, that guitar sounds so good.
Wow.
But yeah, no, that was yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. I didn't know. Just like as walking in, we were already stressing out because we were all late, and I was just like, oh my god, but I was like, damn, this band sounds so good. And then I just like stalked you guys on social media, waiting for you guys to release something. I was like, where's the music? I need to make sure it wasn't just like a dream in my head. That I was just like, I had to know these songs were real, and it was good.
Awesome.
I'd like that to be a dream, that show.
It was all a reality.
Max, I think it was Mac had set up the PA system. I remember we're calling getting like just shocked.
Shocked.
Just to continue.
One of the early shows we did, I was playing an old Mustang that I have, and I was singing in the microphone, and I got so shocked on this one like quiet song that we play, Berlin, and man, I like probably like yelped or something in the middle of the song.
I think that was the genius work of Chuck Gonzalez. That might have been an Amnesia.
It was definitely Amnesia. That was it. The most painful like live experience, like physically painful.
Wow.
That was a show on New Year's we did, and Greg DiMartino was pretty wasted. I think he fell off the stage.
He did.
love
He
it.
fell off the stage.
I love it,
And
man.
we didn't have any band for that show, so we
You
had
Greg.
Greg and
Yeah.
it was Andrew and I and then Greg, and then there was Scott came on and played one song on drums. We didn't have a bass. It was very silly.
We've
Oh
done
my God.
some pretty silly. We've had some pretty silly shows. Although
Yeah, totally.
we've had some really great ones. I think that was a nice thing about the one thing I'm going to miss about San Francisco when everything comes back is that Amnesia closed
Yeah.
properly right before, and it was one of those places where you could just basically do anything you wanted, and there was just
Yeah.
no rules at all. And outside of like don't fuck anything up too bad, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like one of those places where, again, it was just no pretension. No, like anyone who like would be pretentious wouldn't go there, and it just was like a fun, like just a totally fast time. It was a good joint. But yeah, it allowed for us to basically like just totally fool around. It actually kind of allowed for this, it's kind of the spirit of everything that Cesar and I do together to kind of form, which is
Totally.
Which is very
We played
nice.
a bunch of good shows there.
Yeah.
Small room too. I like the small rooms because then they're not half empty.
Amnesia's stage was like kind of awkward, wasn't it? Didn't you have to like?
Awkward.
Extremely, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you get? I never played there. How'd you get on the stage? Were there steps on either side, or you just had to?
There's steps in the front,
Oh, okay.
and
We
then
would
you
walk
walk in
on.
the.
We'd
What
have
was funny though is that when. Sorry, keep going, Cesar.
we do walk-ons. We'd have Greg sing the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Oh yeah.
and we'd walk on every time we played there, pretty much.
Wow.
But it was really awkward, and Andrew would probably like spend half the show standing out in the audience because there's not enough room on stage
Yeah.
for us to all share microphones and stuff. So as soon as he could, he'd step down, and I'd move a little more to the middle because we'd all be kind of skewed to one side or another. Because the drums couldn't sit in the middle.
Yeah.
It was a weird corner.
Yes, I remember that.
Bizarre.
Oh my God.
And it's really hard on stage because you really just like, you first of all have no line of sight of anyone, but you also can't hear shit.
Yeah.
You can't hear a fucking thing, but man, it was so funny.
That one show with the New Year's show with Chuck doing sound.
Dude, Chuck was out of control in it.
Man, Andrew's voice was the only thing I could hear. And I was like, dude, turn this motherfucker down. And I asked Chuck like 10 times, and he kept turning him up instead because he was really stoned or something.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky. I mean, it's funny because like Cesar at this point have played so many different shows together.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
wasn't even the worst like situation
Right,
we had to
right.
deal with, you know what I mean? Like
If you do music long enough, like
Yeah.
if you do music long enough, you're always gonna get this like long line of stories and awful shows that just like, oh. But they're fun though. They're fun after the fact.
we got some good stories, I think.
But I love that, man. I feel like every city should have like an Amnesia, a place that just lets you run wild and throw ideas to the owner, and he's like, yeah, sure, whatever you want to do, just get people in the doors. You know, it's like
Right,
that's
we sell alcohol. Just
sell alcohol. That's the
fucking
point
alcohol.
of this place.
That's
Like, yeah, absolutely. I feel like
Yeah.
every city should have something like that. And Santa Barbara had a place like that for a little bit. It was like a coffee shop that just said, "Go ahead, just do it." And then like everyone got their start there, and it was called Muddy Waters, and it was a great place. And they closed down. It's just what happens, man. It sucks. Did Amnesia close down for COVID reasons or?
No, the dude who was owning it, there was 3 partners, I believe. And
Got it.
one of them left, or 2 of them did, and the guy who owned it owns another kind of actually really awesome beer store called City
Cool.
Beer Store. But anyway, he wanted to change the whole model. I mean, as a business, it couldn't have made any sense,
Yeah.
But as like a cultural, like a cool cultural place with like good people and stuff, it was very important. But I don't. I guess we'll see. But I think it's coming back in some regard. But I don't
Interesting.
think there'll be live music there, although they're maintaining their permit, last I heard. But again, that was before everything happened. So.
Right. Yeah, I get it. That's so wild, man. Yeah, Santa Barbara has one venue. We only have one venue. We have a place called Soho, and I think they're doing good. Like they haven't reached out to me at all or anything like that. But I'll probably end up playing a show there as soon as things open up. Like, we gotta like if we lose that place, we're just like fucked.
Mhm.
Like,
No,
and
I understand.
and there's wealthy people in Santa Barbara, but like wealthy enough to, and it has to be like wealthy enough and like want to open a venue, like.
Right. Yeah, no. It's really involved, dude. I mean, there's a guy here named Dan Strakota, and he runs Rickshaw Stop.
Yeah.
There's a venue
Love that place.
And Rickshaw Stop's great. I mean, also Dan's just does a great job of like, curating. It's one of those like, cool bands come through, and like he has partnership with Aaron Axelson, does a DJ at radio station Live 105 here for a long time. They would throw pop scene parties and stuff. I mean, they were like touring acts that were not playing, the big, playing at, at the Fillmore or something, or or Another Planet. We're like going and playing at Dan's Joint, and Dan's still around currently, but man, like that place is the kind of the same thing you're talking about, of like a real, like that's like, it seems I don't know Dan too well, but like seems like that's his life, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
Like, it's a note, like it's important, for people like you and I and Cesar and everybody. But
yeah,
like, we'll see how it all kind of.
I got very drunk the last time I played Rickshaw Stop, and
one should.
Yeah, very embarrassing. We had like a fill-in bass player and a fill-in keyboardist, and I was just like trying to make up for the fact that maybe they didn't know the songs very well, and so I got very drunk. And my friend said I was funny, like so that's good. In between the songs, I was funny, so I'll take that. But I think we were opening up for Japanese Breakfast during Noise Pop, and it was just like, oh no, I think they hate us. I think that band hates me, by the way.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Yeah. They probably don't remember me, but if they saw my face, they're like, oh, you're the guy who drank every beer. I'm like, yeah, that was me.
I think we've all been that guy. Yeah, particularly me. But yeah, man, God,
it's all good, man. It's that's the beauty of playing these shows and going from town to town, like especially San Francisco or LA. Like you always have a good time, That's like when I'm touring, when I'm on the road. I don't really drink because I don't know where I'm at. I'm like, I don't know where I'm at in fucking South Carolina. I will get lost. Like, so I'm pretty sober until I make my way back into San Francisco, and most of my friends live in San Francisco. I'm like, oh, okay, I need to not get drunk at the show, but I will. That happens.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's one thing I do miss about I miss traveling a lot. Like just so many friends in different places too that one hasn't seen in however long, and
that's what's been nice about the podcast.
Right. No, it must be great.
Yeah, it's like the one sense of like connecting with people I have left, because I don't really leave my house. Like I have no job. I'm just floating.
Damn, man, I feel you.
Yeah, man. Cowboy, you said something about Cowboy Oasis.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, man. Can we talk about the Cowboy Oasis vibe, energy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we started recording. We recorded the first record after I had done a tour that Cesar was playing in my band end of 2017. That was just a disaster. It was a disaster in hindsight, but yeah, we were and I think that we both, I came back really dejected from it, and about a year later, we kind of, we got together, and a lot of the stories and stuff that are on this record are all very like kind of making fun of the, like and Dacia's a real person in New York City. Who also was at the Los Angeles stop of this tour, but he, like partying with these people, like, would you tell me if I blew it? Because I probably did, wasted and waiting, like Beverly Hills, like all the songs are pretty dour. They're all kind of about suicide in one way or another. But in a way, I think that what we kind of naturally do as, friends and kind of just talking about like, or going through life together in this way, like that it is kind of funny. When things go really bad, when things go poorly, like it's not great, but it can be, the only way you survive things like that is kind of taking it on in a tongue-in-cheek sort of a way. At least I do. And I think that part of the kind of feeling that came into it was this like negative, not negative, but like the kind of making the negative positive sort of a thing. And then we always wanted to, one of the jokes I think we had for a while was that, we wanted to do a cowboy band, but John Wayne is like a racist, terrible person.
Totally.
And so to add insult to injury, it would be funny if the joke band's name would be Juan Wayne, and then and then I guess we just made the tracks, but they all kind of sound like Oasis. Now I'm getting lost by the story, but fuck yeah, I mean that's Cesar. You want to save me?
I mean, I think it's funny, like the band name we had, I think a long time ago, because we were making we were just as friends and playing music together and whatnot. We just sort of were writing goofy songs, and it started out almost more like a 80s synth pop thing.
Totally.
With way too many tracks and digital. But I think we had the Juan Wayne thing because that sort of was funny with that context. And then in coming together and writing these songs and recording this record, we were like, oh, well, we need to put this record out. And it's like, oh, well, Juan Wayne. But then we were thinking, oh, well, what rather than being a band, Juan Wayne trying to honor something like some cowboy aesthetic or something, why don't we just play two guys, Juan and Wayne, the character playing, role. And particularly live, that's been really, really liberating, I think, for both of us, in the way that we can kind of embody these alter egos that aren't really Andrew and Cesar.
Right.
But I think in a funny way, we don't, or at least I don't, see Juan Wayne, the band, as being tied to this cowboy thing. I don't know. I like cowboys. I grew up watching John Ford movies. I like cowboys.
Totally. Yeah, that's amazing, man. I think it's a good way to give an FU to John Wayne by just making fun of his name with the people he didn't like. He's crazy, man. He's I don't know. Just more and more and stuff comes out, but I never really watched a John Wayne movie before in my life, but I just see the stuff that comes out, like these old audio clips of him. So yeah, it does feel nice to kind of get him.
Yeah, he was like anti-communist, totally McCarthyism, crazy motherfucker.
Yeah, wild.
History's gonna, Orange County has an airport named after him. That should say that.
That should say everything. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and Cesar's right though. I think also part of it was this and thinking about it more, Los Angeles in particular is a lot of the Los Angelian cowboy,
right.
People trying to do the Graham Parsons thing and taking it really seriously and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that, and you see that in Northern California as well. There's a lot of that, and I think that also part of the joke was that we weren't going to try to make it sound like country music at all, just whatsoever. It's just going to be totally not sound like that, but we'll look that way, And
totally.
I think that in a way that's kind of also a farce on this whole.
It's funny because everyone, as soon as you are a singer-songwriter or play acoustic guitar live, everyone wants to compare you to Graham Parsons, which is lovely. Right. I mean, he's insanely talented and wonderful, but I don't think all of us are drunk at the bar, stab your heart out kind of guys.
Totally.
Live, and our projects don't have to reflect that. And it's not all hokey rhinestone cowboy stuff. So I feel like it's interesting to have a band that is the cowboy band, but then the music isn't country.
Totally.
But Andrew and I are both huge fans of country music, enormous fans of country music. So it's in a funny way, it is a little bit ironic, but this is definitely not the country band. It's funny. We're almost more like Oasis, Brit. It's a Beatles, Oasis.
Almost. Yeah.
Man, Oasis was a big band for me in the 6th grade. When I found out about Oasis, I found out about Oasis through I Love the 90s on VH1.
Gnarly.
Yeah, and I was like, who is this? I heard Wonderwall, and I was just like, oh my god, and that went on Kazaa that was the one before LimeWire, and I just downloaded all the I downloaded What's the Story Morning Glory for free, and never looked back since.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's funny
an anchor.
It's funny for me because I totally I basically growing up listening, I just ignored the 90s completely. And I think that it really was learning about the feud that made me want to listen to it. Because I think that Wonderwall always led always kind of sat in my mind like a like a campfire song, like John Denver or something, because like that's
Right.
what, go places everyone would play it. And then also I thought that like Bryan Adams was a cover artist, but he kind of was. So that anyway, but yeah, no, I just there's I've never really, the context never really sat for me until like 5 years ago even. So I really was like totally ignored it, and then like because my brain was so elsewhere, it was like
where were you?
I was
Where
like
was your
listening a lot of 60s and 70s really, a lot of that, a lot of songwriter, a lot of country. And then also, in 2009, 2008, like Sub Pop world of every one of those bands, and Tim Presley and White Fence and Dark My Love and Delta Spirit and all that shit.
Right,
like that all like Shins.
I
think the only band that for me that I grew up like pay attention to that was of that kind of era was Radiohead, but outside of that, it was like all the Blurs of the world and the Oasis, like culture.
The Britpop thing is hard.
Lost on me until recently even.
The Britpop thing is hard because it's so ironic and it's such British humor that I feel like a lot of Americans they take it too seriously. And it's like I feel like it does have a sense of a large slice of irony.
It's kind of like
they intend to do so. Yeah, it's like the darkness kind of a bit on that, and I feel like there's this sense of I just don't think in the States we really get British humor to the same extent as a culture.
Totally.
I feel like that a lot of that Britpop stuff it's got that element to it. Whereas then there's, at the same time, contemporaneous with all that, there's like the late shoegaze, early indie stuff in England, which is, in my opinion, killer and more interesting. But I love songwriting in Oasis and Blur and all that stuff.
Yeah, what was some of the stuff you were listening to, Cesar?
Oh, well, I grew up listening to like kind of everything. I kind of was raised on everything from like the Smiths to the Beatles to, Sonic Youth. And, very eclectic.
Was that family influence? Was your parents, or did you find that stuff yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, my folks were both artists in New York in the late 80s, early 90s. So they got a little bit of a dose of that. But then it's funny, like I fell into the kind of classic thing. I remember I have such a vivid memory of being, my dad lived in LA when I was a kid. And I came down here and I went to like Tower Records and I bought Back in Black, and it came with a DVD. And I made him watch the DVD, and it was like AC/DC in their like 50s, like the stadiums running around like underpants, like it's nightmare nonsense, But I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then I made him listen to Black in Black for like 2 weeks until I discovered Guns N' Roses. And so it's like there's a cyclical level of like bad cock rock. It's just, in retrospect, really great songwriting and killer sounding, but I can't imagine being my dad and having to listen to.
He was trying to do the righteous thing and show you the Smiths and show you.
He was like, Sonic Youth is really cool. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, whole lot of Rosie, man.
Yeah, man. Then you just got into, you can't pass that. It's just like, I don't know. You can't pass the moment of your AC/DC phase, your Zeppelin phase. Like you have to go through it.
I feel like Cesar and I both have been going through the Zeppelin phase.
Zeppelin heavy recently,
dude. All the time.
Yeah. I think
I was like 13, listened to it regularly, and now it's like I have to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Right. What's which one has Tangerine? Is that Zeppelin 2?
Tangerine is 3.
3. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that one has that one's mostly acoustic.
Yeah.
And that's what
backwards guitar solo.
Right.
It's a vibey song.
Super vibey. And that's where it blew my mind. That was like the record that blew my mind in high school, because I was like this is the first Led Zeppelin album I'm going to buy. I was expecting hard rock, and the whole fucking thing was acoustic, and I was like, all right, I got to start all over. I don't know where I am anymore.
Well, because he was so into Aleister Crowley and all the,
right.
He loved Bert Jansch and Nick Drake and all these British folk guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's Andrew and I also bonded, I think, over a love of the Beatles, a love of English folk music.
Dude, also that Bert Jansch record, the one, that Los Angeles one.
Yeah, killer.
like with Sweet as a Sunday Morning or whatever it's called, is
Right.
like amazing. Like an amazing record.
He is incredible. I mean, one of those insane songwriters that I think will be like a favorite. Like it's like almost like what Big Star is to bands or something.
Yeah.
Like sort of he's a songwriter
Right.
in a way, and it's not any of the myth. I mean, I love Graham Parsons, but it's not the mythology. It's like his talent. He wrote
It's really great.
Yeah.
Goddamn good.
so many albums that are all just killer songs.
Totally. Yeah, that's how I feel about absolutely Big Star. Big Star is huge. Jim Croci, another big
Totally.
artist for me. Like, just like every song, just like this is so good. He's so good.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man.
It's a sound.
Do you guys ever think about this is a weird question. Do you guys ever think about legacy when you're writing, or are you guys still we're just trying to write good songs? But you ever think about like each step of the way, this album will sound this way, and then when we do our next EP, it will sound this way, and like
Our band's called Juan Wayne, and we wear cowboy hats. So.
That's about as far as we've gotten. But but no, I think in a way maybe. I mean, I think that what's nice about this project, I think in the rest of my life, I've personally thought like I've had the illusion of thinking about things that way, which
right,
has not necessarily been helpful at times. But I think what's nice
it's
about
fun.
this project with Cesar is that like it's like okay, like let's do a record like that sounds like let's get together. This is the concept, and then like write the songs in one day, and then go and put the thing together in 5 days. It seems to be how we've done the last two, and we kind of go Jones around about kind of what would be funny for us to do.
Right.
We could like if we're doing it, we're gonna fucking have a great time doing it.
Yeah,
and and I guess in that way, I mean. I mean, it's like the pre-planning kind of when it comes down to like what we think is funny.
Decisions too. And that I think making decisions proactively ahead of time and sticking to those, like on a songwriting basis, but also like on a just in general, like for the band, it forces us to sort of accidentally have a legacy. Maybe I don't know.
right. Yeah,
I don't think we're being all that intentional about it, other than the gimmick.
yeah, right.
And also the varying lineups of people who play in the band, I think is we basically have only try to allow people who like front bands to play in the band. So you are invited.
Dude, yes, I will play
in one way.
Dude, I will play drums anytime.
Amazing.
Yeah. That's hilarious, man. I think what can you go back to what you just said about what were you just saying about being on time and managing your guys' time?
Me?
No, Cesar, you're saying that's what you guys are focusing on is like
I think just in general, like we're very intentional because we live in different places and because
right.
like we get together to do this, that it's like, I mean, for example,
everything's planned out.
Right. For example, the first I recorded, we did bass through an amp, the whole thing. Every bass sounds the same way. And this is just an example.
Yeah.
The second record, every bass is DI'd. And it's just
Right.
like, we don't sit around and go, oh, well, should we DI the bass? Should we do it? Like whatever. Oh, should we mic the snare drum like this? Whatever. It's sort of like, all right, let's do all of this. And then let's do all of this. And then let's like, oh, let's write all the songs. Oh, like, let's go back and make sure we like the songs. Like we sort of, I think, go about things in an intentional manner because of the time constraint or because of the distance or whatever. But I think it lends itself to not being an overthought thing.
Yeah.
I would worry that a band like Juan Wayne with such a gimmick would be overthought. And I don't think it is, which is good.
Yeah, and I think that's an overall theme in your guys' project. It's not overthought, it's very loose, and you guys are just having a good time. I think that's something for other bands to hear. I know a lot of people who listen to this podcast are in other bands. Like, what's the tip? Do you think that's a good way to do it versus your other projects you've had, or maybe you've taken it like too seriously? Because I've always done that. I took Dante Elephante way too fucking seriously for way too long. Like, are you guys having a lot of fun this way? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a good balance kind of, but when you have partnerships, when it comes down to like a partnership, like I think it's really important for it to be like very like enjoyable. And I think that,
not worth it.
What's nice, like with Cesar, for me, is that, like, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and creatively we really trust each other, like, and when it comes down to, like, even on the writing side, like, he knows my tropism, like, so well to, like, call me on my bullshit every time. Yeah. I feel the same with him. And so, like, when it comes down to, like, all the filler, like, nonsense that you possibly could, like, be sitting there and thinking is a good idea at the time for 5 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks or whatever, like, when you have not very much time, and you have someone who you trust, who will call you when you call you on your bullshit when you're fucking, doing, doing your fucking, falling into your same old habits of whatever, this or that. I think that, that's really important, but, like, it's the spontaneity that kind of allows that to seem to work, and whether you see it, like, cause I mean, I'd say, although, if we have a good time and stuff, there is, like, a level of, like, okay, like, we're here to do this, obviously, like, they're not.
Yeah, we're not good for
like, we're not told we are dicking around the entire time, but we're not but there is a goal in mind, and we are going to achieve it, you know what I mean, which is making a record or recording 5 songs or whatever it is. And I think that, that not having, like, the time constraint seems to kind of allow for there not really to be too much, like, serious, like, overthinking, you know what I mean, which is helpful.
Well, and I think also, like, if we were recording, I mean, no tip intended, because tape is an inconvenient thing in this day and age, always will be. I think that does lend itself to the way that our music is. I don't think Juan Wayne would sound like Juan Wayne or would be like Juan Wayne, and the records wouldn't be like them if we were not recording them to an 8-track.
Right. That's awesome. So one thing I want to talk to you guys about, once again, more songwriting tips, like, how do you guys deal with the ego side of songwriting, like presenting a song and being like, I like this song, and then maybe someone else isn't feeling the song? Like, how do you guys deal with that?
I'll let Cesar answer that.
Well, I mean, I think, again, as Andrew said, we both really trust each other. And I think the idea kind of is, if one of us brings something and the other person doesn't like it, then generally it's like, okay, you don't, why not? What do you not like about it?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, I think this or this or this. And if one person, if in this situation, like, okay, like, I bring a song and Andrew's like, this is, you're bullshitting. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he's like, you're bullshitting, and this is why. And if I go, okay, maybe, like, let's try to rework it, then that's one scenario. And the other scenario is, no, I'm not bullshitting, trust me. And both of those scenarios work. And I think we've done both. I mean, there have been times where, like, songs we've disagreed about have become songs we're both really fond of. But there have also been times where, like, we have worked a song from completely over to turn it in from something to something completely else. And I think that wouldn't occur. If Andrew's writing his songs or I was writing my songs, I think we would both go our lanes. And I think, moreover, like, it's really good to have somebody that you trust, that you can communicate with, and you can ask really good advice, not only in a band. Like,
right.
I ask Andrew what he thinks of my songs. Right. I ask Andrew what he thinks of, like, my silly work music.
I do the same thing.
Right. Yeah, it's good. It's good that you guys have each other's back, and it's good that it's more contained. It's just the two of you. And sometimes when you get more band members and now more people are trying to write songs, it can get even more complicated. But it's nice that it's just the two of you working as a unit, and you can control the other. It's like there's a check and balances almost.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's that thing, man, where it's like, when you're doing your music. I mean, I think that everyone talks about, oh, like, you always hate your own music. And I think that's bullshit. I mean, I don't know. Like, when I'm making a track and I think it's sick and I've, like, played a sick ass guitar solo on it, like, I listen to that and I'm like, I am fucking,
I'm a god.
Alien,
I'm a fucking god.
And it's really, really good to have somebody to tell you that you're not, because you can literally go down that and put that record out, and then everyone gets to see your big, ego indulgent thing. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like Andrew might know my writing more than I do, and maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's also similar. I've recorded another one of my records up in Berkeley in September, and it was like imperative for, like, Cesar to be there for me. Like, at this point, it was like, man, like, because I don't and that record was mostly like all these players of yours mostly recorded live. But yeah, it was like one of those things where like I needed Cesar there to be like, to call me on bullshit, because again, it's having someone there that you trust to observe you and be like, all right, dude, like, really, you're too bad again. Like, hey, like be true to this or whatever.
And not only in a sort of detractive sense, but also like in a, like, I feel like a lot of times what we do, I mean, in that context, but also in Juan Wayne, is it's like, hey, this is really cool, this thing you do. And, oh, really? I don't think so. That's not cool. Yeah, well, it's really cool. You should try it.
Right.
We should do that. Like, we should blow up these things that we see in each other that we don't see in ourselves.
It's true. And often when that happens, I mean, it just like, yeah, that's where it gets exciting, particularly in the hindsight, is just trying things you would never have, that you'd think were like so dumb, from the jump, but then you do it as a leap of faith. And then when you're like, in hindsight, you're like, oh, fuck, that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, God, like, I never fucking thought to do that shit. No, never. Right. That's rad. So yeah, I don't know. When it comes down to that, it seems to.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think what you guys got going on is really awesome, man. Like, let's go and talk about. You guys have a new EP coming out. When can we expect this EP to come out? What's the plan? Talk us through the strategy.
Mushroom album.
I think we have to. I did do a rough mix. We have to do another mix, and we have to get it mastered and get some art. It'll be a little while.
Are you digitizing the tape to mix it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did we do that the first time, or did you just live mix it? You did. No, you digitized it.
It's all live. We'll do the mix down to, so we don't dump the tape. No, so we mix off the 8-track.
Right.
And down to 2-track. And so like the mixes are a performance.
Cool.
Which is how on the first record all the tape delay and shit came on.
Yeah, it's all live. You can't. I think it was sort of funny. Like maybe 2 months after I mixed that record, Andrew was like, "Hey, so can we get like a one without vocals?" And I'm like, I was like, "I didn't do vocal ups, man. I'm sorry."
Yeah. Okay, so now that's saying this is like the bumps of you guys doing this project. So now next time when you finish these mixes, okay, let's just get one without a vocal. Or are you still gonna? Who knows?
Yeah, the licensing company wants them without vocals, but
yeah.
We don't have them.
They always do.
You know what I mean? We don't have them.
It's not hard to do. It was more just like, you can't go back and recreate those mixes 2 weeks later because it's like I work off a little board and it's like I'm working on that all the time, so the faders change. I don't have recall. It's not like a personal session,
Right. Yeah.
But that's kind of cool too. I don't know.
Totally.
The whole idea behind Juan Wayne is it's a moment, capturing something.
Right.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's exciting. I think one of the things I'm thinking about right now is that whole idea of for the licensing company with the mixes, just trying to think, okay, maybe we should do this, do that, and the pre-planning, and I don't know, man.
Yours is great for that, dude.
Totally.
I mean, like, Juan Wayne is in no way licensable music. You know what I mean? Like, no way. But
I don't know.
Your last record in particular, I mean, it sounds awesome. You know what I mean?
We'll see.
That's like made for that shit.
That's like the only way musicians make money anymore.
Absolutely.
And I've never gotten a sync. I've gotten one sync in my whole life, and like, it was cool. It like it funded the record. Like we put all that money and just used it to like make a record. But like, yeah, I don't know. That's just a whole different world to me, and I'm just like not comfortable talking like with when I'm talking. Like they pitch me like, we got a Facebook commercial. I'm like, I don't really like Facebook, but I'll do it.
Take the check.
Yeah, of course. It's like, and I'm not 100. It's like when they say we have a Facebook commercial, it doesn't mean for you. It's just like, okay, so now you're battling with this inner monologue of like, yeah, I need the money. Also, fuck Facebook. Also, but ultimately, I think you gotta take the check in these times, man.
I've had like songs in like Teen Mom and shit. Like
yeah, there you go.
I don't like Teen Mom, but I don't watch it. I don't watch MTV,
totally.
But I'm happy that they use it. Like they,
it's great.
Yeah, give me more.
Great when you get that check.
Yeah,
that quarterly check that's for some goofy thing you did.
Totally. Absolutely, man. With the teen mom thing, was that through? Okay, so I had a company reach out to me I guess I can call them out. They're a massive company, Bunham and Murray, and they reached out to us about putting our songs in some like MTV stuff, and there's just like literally no money involved. And
interesting. Yeah, I mean,
I thought that was weird.
I mean, there's smaller licenses and larger ones. I mean, I go through, and Juan Wayne, we go through a great company in Los Angeles. And,
cool.
You know, so, I mean, that's they've done really great for me, and I'm very grateful for them.
That's awesome.
And you know, they have the Juan Wayne stuff. It's funny because Cesar actually ended up getting through his buddy, ended up getting the Juan Wayne stuff before we released a record in some like art films that were like, I don't know, some like college student art films that were
right.
Hilarious.
That's awesome.
We're like no money at all, but awesome. You know, it was like, all right, dude, please.
Good to have it out there, you know.
Totally. I mean, yeah.
I wish I this is one thing that I like. When we talk about this, we've talked about it in the past, where it's like, man, it would be cool. Like, I wish I was more involved with, like, you know, I know a lot of musicians and artists and shit, obviously, but I don't, you know, they're coming up, but I don't know too many like film people, and I kind of wish I'd be like, yeah, like use the like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but like, please, like, just use our funny music, but please do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta reach out to one of those kids who goes to like a film college.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I should in the future be more, pay more attention to that.
A lot of my music videos have come from kids who are just like, hey man, I'll shoot that video for you. Like,
right.
We could just get gear from our school and make it work. And I'm like, oh shit. And then it looks like insane. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You kids are insane.
There you go.
Fuck, man.
The kids are insane. They're getting really good at this stuff.
They're so good because you know, by the time you're 10 years old, you have a nice fucking camera, you know how to use it, and then you go to film school and it's like, holy crap. Like, I still had like a really shitty flip phone in high school, and had a flip phone until like I was like 21. Like, hell no.
Really, you know?
Totally. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's get into it. Where are we at? We're an hour and 14 minutes in. This is the first podcast of 2021. Did you guys have any resolutions?
Oh,
I want to floss.
There we go.
I'll pick that one up. Yeah, I need to floss more. God damn, I need to floss more. Shit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that, it didn't really feel like a proper New Year to me.
Right. What'd you guys do?
I stayed at home.
Yeah.
I didn't do shit. I think I went to bed early.
What'd you do, Cesar?
My girlfriend and I got some shrimp cocktail, and we drank some shrimp.
Oh, hell yeah. Love a nice shrimp cocktail. Yeah, same thing. My girlfriend and I just like watched it on TV. We almost fell asleep at 10. And they're like, we gotta push through.
Let's do it.
We gotta push through. And then we got these like random chocolates. They're behind me. Hold on.
Oh, yum.
They're like these random chocolates.
It's sick, dude. Whoa.
Fun, dude.
The alcohol chocolates, right?
Yes.
The shots.
Let me see if my camera can.
That sounds fun.
And each one has a shot in it.
There you go.
Nice.
They're disgusting, but they're awesome.
That's so funny.
I thought they were gonna be like flavored like alcohol, and then I took a bite and it was just like dripping vodka down my mouth. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I recall those being a little.
I didn't know there's gonna be liquid inside of them. So now we drank like 2 of them, and now they're just sitting in my room, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't see myself ever eating them.
You can re-gift.
Yeah. Regifting is an art, and yeah.
Yeah, here's a gift. Don't mind that 2 are missing.
The cat is the cat.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap it up. If people want to support Juan Wayne, what's the best way to do that?
I would say that again.
What's the best way for people to support you guys?
I was going to say Spotify, but no. Go on iTunes or Bandcamp or something and buy the album.
Yeah.
Also, we have really silly merchandise. We sold that marijuana grinders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we have a couple.
That's hilarious.
We had a second order. This is a Juan Wayne marijuana grinder.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, it's a nice grinder, I've been told. But anyway, we have those. If you go to our Instagram, there's a
tie-dyes.
How does one make a grinder?
Well, I mean, I can't tell you that.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, no, yeah, we're working on bath bombs, some hippie ladies. We got all sorts of shit going on, but we have t-shirts and
cool.
that's maybe in the future. But it's worth going to our Instagram and checking that out.
Hell yeah. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the podcast. I enjoyed talking to you guys, and I love your music.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you so much for having us, and nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you guys too. It's been so long, man. Hopefully, hopefully soon shit starts opening up.
Amazing.
Trust on Fauci.
Yeah.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Knock on Fauci. Okay, cool.